Since we're all gonna die, there's one more secret I feel I have to share with you. I did not care for the Godfather.
What?
Did not care for the Godfather.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll see how a woman discovers through an ancestry DNA test that she supposedly has a long-lost sister or niece. Join us as we analyze who this girl's real father is, how she confronted her father with accusations of being a predator, and how she ultimately uncovered the true paternity fraud, leading to someone having to apologize. We want you to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Our goal is to reach 150,000 subscribers before March, and with your support, we can make it happen. Don't forget to leave your comments and turn on notifications so you don't miss any videos. Now, let's get started.
I need you to sit down. You're going to have to sit down for this one. This is a DNA story. It's wild. You're not going to believe me, but I have all receipts, and it's going to get crazy. I'm going to make a couple different parts because it's kind of long, and I'm going to start it from the first day. So basically, I did my ancestry DNA test about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe. You know, just trying to see where I'm from. I'm curious. Curiosity usually kills a cat. So, there's no cats dead here, but there's a lot of curiosity. There's going to be a lot of things that come up, and you're just going to be like, wow, this is wild. So when you do an ancestry DNA test, you get connected to DNA matches. So as long as the other people that you're related to, that you share DNA with, do the test, you'll be connected. Most of the people that I was connected with on the... Okay, so part 1. All right, so at the top you can see is my mother, to my maternal side, 50%. You know, common sense. And then here it says close family, half sister or niece, 28%. And then under that, half nephew, 15%, blah, blah. So this person under close family that I shared 28% with kept coming up. And it kept coming up like new, and newer, because it had never said half sister before. So I had reached out to a couple of other cousins because they had her picture. I looked for her on Facebook. I couldn't find her anywhere. So I reached out to a couple of cousins, sent her picture. You know what I mean? Like, she has a very specific name. Do you know her? We share the same last name. Like I said, she's from my father's side. My cousin had no clue. And this is a cousin that, even though we have 150,000 cousins, knows all of them. So something said, stop playing around. Inbox her. You can inbox people.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
So, you discover a sister that no one knew existed through an ancestry DNA test. We can't jump to conclusions just yet, but the story is getting interesting. So let's keep watching to truly understand what's going on here.
All right, so this is the first text from her to me after I gave her my number in Ancestry. Let's just say for this situation, her name is Jennifer. So Jennifer Moore happens to have the same last name as me, which is through her mom, which is even more like crazy and coincidental. Here I'm explaining that we're definitely related through, you know, my dad. Well, let's say my dad's side of the family. At the time, I'm thinking she has to be a sister. Here I asked her how old she was, because I'm 40 and I just was really curious, and she's 2 years younger than me. So again, I just want to reiterate that it's just a coincidence that both of our last names are Moore. Obviously, DNA is not the coincidence, but we're related some way, somehow, very strongly. Here is where we kind of have a breakthrough of what we think we do, because I'm like, you're our sister, and what else could it be? Something told me to keep asking her birthday. Like, something kept telling me to ask her birthday. All right, so here's where I asked her birthday. She says January 30th. I couldn't breathe because I knew it. I say, you're lying, because guess what? My birthday's January 30th. My birthday. So now I'm like, this is crazy. Just another coincidinky, whatever. Like, so her last name's Moore through her mom, not through her side of the family that she's related to me on, which is Moore also. She's lived in the same county as me all her life. So have I. We do not know each other, and we have the same birthday. We are literally going insane right now. I was going insane right now.
Could she be her long-lost twin? Well, no, because she's 2 years younger than her. The big question here is, why don't they confront their parents directly? Or at least the unknown girl's mother, the one who actually gave birth to her, if she even knows who the father is? There are a lot of unanswered questions. If a DNA test confirmed that they are sisters or cousins, or whatever they may be, that means the unknown girl has been living a lie her whole life. And that also tells us something even more shocking. The man she believes to be her father probably isn't. This smells like a case of paternity fraud by the mother. Things are getting really interesting.
All right, so let me kind of get everybody back on track a little bit. So basically, my DNA matched a girl that's lived in my county for my whole life. So when I keep saying live in my county, I want to acknowledge that she's lived 5 minutes, 10 minutes from my house. Like, her backyard is my backyard. Where we live, it's very small. So we share the same last name. It was just a coincidence. Her mom has the same last name, which I'm not related to her mom or her mom's side of the family at all. Coincidence that we both share the same birthday. So now we're at a point where we've kind of been talking, texting back and forth, and trying to figure out how we are related. The only way that we are related is behind a bunch of lies. We just don't know at this point the lies, or who knows the lies, or who told the lies, or who's the victim, or, who's the aggressor, who's the predator here. Somebody is and somebody isn't, but we know that there's something wrong here. So this is me and her conversing about how my actual ancestry page says that we are either sibling, half sibling, or she's my niece. I'm saying the only way she could be my niece is if her mom slept with one of my brothers. My oldest brother is 48, which at the time would have made him 9. So here we're talking about my dad or my brother are the only way that there's a connection here. That literally one of them has to be her dad. And either way you slice the pie, obviously this is going to be a weird situation. But at the moment, yeah, I'm thinking that my dad is her dad. I'm really thinking like, damn, maybe something happened, maybe he didn't know her age or something, but I don't have my dad for this type of person. My dad's not this type of person. My dad protects women. My dad loves women. My dad wouldn't do that to a child. So she's also feeling like her family has some explaining to do. I'm wondering if her mom is the victim. I don't want to question the victim and push the victim into answer.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
I want you to notice how she says, who is the predator here? I can assume that everyone is blaming the father because when things like this happen, he is always the first to be accused. Throughout her entire narrative, she keeps directing the blame toward her father. Even though she says he wouldn't do something like that, she's still blaming him because he's a man and therefore he must be the guilty one. No one is talking about the fact that a 15-year-old girl had a child and doesn't even know who the father is. Why doesn't she confront her mother and demand answers? Because women can simply declare who a child's father is and no one questions it. But in this case, she doesn't want to do that because she pinned the child on another man and now doesn't want her lies to be exposed. Responsibility is kryptonite for women. But let's see who the real predator is in the final part of this story.
All right, so I'm going to try to sum some things up really quickly, and just to make it a little bit easier. So I did my DNA on Ancestry. I did this DNA test because I wanted to know what I was. I'm mixed. My mom's German and my dad is black. So I always wanted to know, what I was. It comes out that I'm about 50% German and 50% Nigerian. I pretty much knew most of my family on both sides, except for there's still family in Germany. And on my dad's side, we never knew my dad's dad. So we never knew really his family. My dad always assumed a man to be his dad, but we just never knew. So the DNA test, I hoped, would connect us to other people that we were related to, that we just didn't know we were related to. And you never know who you're related to. You need to know who you're related to. We live in a small place. You get me? So boom, me and the girl match on DNA. We're 28% matching. It says that she's my half sibling or my niece. I'm like, well, damn, what's going on? She can't be my niece because my brother's 48 and then my other brother's 45. This whole time, she's lived 5 minutes away from me my whole life. Like, we live in each other's backyards. Like, I'm in her city all the time. I also want to reiterate that her last name is Moore because my last name is Moore, too. So I would assume, as I'm looking at the website, that she's related to my father. You know what I mean? My mother's white. There's no way. Just so happens it's a coincidence that she has the last name Moore because her mother is a Moore. So her mother gave her the last name Moore, not my father. were not my side of the family. So me and her get to texting. We have the same birthday. We've lived in the same place. We're 2 years apart. We both know that her grandmother dated my dad at this point. We're going back and forth. So now it starts to get a little dark because we figure out her mom had her young, which means that my dad was around then. And if we're related, this could mean that my dad is her dad, which would mean that my dad would have raped her mom, which I hate to use that word, you know what I mean? But it is what it is, right? So we're all kind of scrambling, feeling really down about it. Everything was feeling so happy and like, wow, we found a sister or, we thought. So my other sister called our brother. We have two brothers, an older brother, 48, and then one 45. She called the 48-year-old brother and was explaining the situation and see if he had anything to say. He had nothing to say. He had no idea. He was really weirded out about it, and he was really hoping, just like me and her, that had nothing to do with our dad.
God. So your father was involved with this girl's grandmother while her mother was only 15 years old? Do you even realize what you're saying? You're accusing your own father of a crime without a shred of evidence. This kind of prejudice has sent hundreds of honorable men to prison, because if he's a man, he must automatically be guilty. She confronts her father. Let's see how this story ends. But before that, I have a question for you all. How would you feel if your daughter took a DNA test, discovered something like this, and instead of seeking clear answers from the mother of the girl in question, she hinted that you were a predator, when you've always been a decent man?
But then how? We're trying to figure out how this girl's related to us, not, just blame it on somebody. So me and the girl are figuring it out. We're going back and forth. So now what happens is we get to a point where my dad's the only connection that we have. My dad lived there apparently, and when her mom was 15, you know what I mean? And blah, 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 blah. My dad had my brothers there. I don't ever remember being there. My brothers apparently remember being there, but we're just getting there. My dad has no clue how this girl could be related to us. He thinks I'm crazy. He's telling my sister he's mad at me because he didn't even give me any DNA. You don't have to give me DNA, Dad. I'm crazy. So after my sister reached out to my brother and talked, and I reached out to my other brother and talked, me and my sister were sitting together and we were talking and just trying to figure out how this was going to go. We're nervous. We can't figure out how this happened without blaming our dad. So last night, my brother, my oldest brother, who's 48, called my sister and told her that he's that girl's dad. I know. You didn't think I was going to say that, did ya? So he told me that when he was 9, turning 10, our grandmother would drop him off there, assuming that was my dad's residence and for my brother to be with his dad. And he was being dropped off there and having sex. He said almost daily. So now we kind of know the truth. Either way, it's bad and it hurts. I am somewhat relieved that it's not my dad who is the predator here, and I never had him for that. My dad's a good guy. He's a good man. He might not have always been the best dad in the world, but he was never the worst either. So now as far as my brother, I feel like my brother's a victim, and I feel really bad for my brother. I guess, this girl that we met through DNA match, who is now my niece, is 2 years younger than me, and I feel really bad for her. I feel like if I hadn't done this, nobody would even know. I changed her life too yesterday, the day before. Since Monday, I've changed her life. Her mom is her mom, obviously, but her dad's not her dad. Her dad is only 10 years older than her. This girl has kids. My brother's now a grandfather. I don't know, but what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to have me and my siblings go live on here in a day or two. So if you guys could share this for me and get it out there, it'd be cool. I think it's really important to get your DNA done. I think everybody should be buying ancestry DNA tests for each other for Christmas. Honestly, I think DNA should be done at birth. But thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I'm going to try to do a live with my siblings and reel this thing in a little bit. And I'll try to answer anybody's questions as good as I can without, giving up too much. Thanks.
Brothers, nothing really happened here. Just small matters of life, right? Except for the fact that this girl's mother was the one who abused a 9 or 10-year-old boy. except for the fact that she committed paternity fraud and pinned that child on a man who probably still believes she is his daughter, except for the fact that an innocent man was falsely accused of abuse, a serious man who had nothing to do with this, except for the fact that a 9 or 10-year-old boy was abused and had a child he never knew about, except for the fact that a girl just discovered that her father is only 10 years older than her, that the man she thought was her father isn't actually her biological father, and that her mother lied to her all her life, making her believe she belonged to a family that wasn't really hers while being kept away from her real one. But as I said, since a woman did it, these are just small matters, right? All of this could have been avoided if DNA testing were mandatory. All of this could have been avoided if, from day one, women had to take responsibility for their actions. But in this matriarchal system, these crimes go unpunished. If it had been the father, he would already be facing charges for the abuse of a minor. But since it was a woman, it's just small matters, right? We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, here are some questions for you. Who do you think is truly to blame here? What do you think about making DNA testing mandatory at birth? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from The Wall.